Hey guys, what is up? What's going on? Welcome back to my channel. We are going to be doing this is what we are now in May 22nd. Today I'm recording this. So yeah, let's check your end of May energies, what we are entering the months of June with. Watch this video if you're Scorpio, rising, sun or moon or Venus, even can watch, especially about love. Anyway, let's get started. Quick announcement before we get into your reading. So two things actually I want you to say. So I still have a few spots for private reading for like the end of May and the summer. I probably will be closing it in June because I'll be away after that. So check it out. Links are going to be in the description box. Also, it happened that I had some personal things going on that I didn't finish. I didn't get into booking my private one-on-one student for the summer. There were a few people who messaged me, but it didn't really, I didn't feel most of them were the right fit. So if you feel like you want to start studying tarot one-on-one with me, and if you want to see if I have that spot, so I still do actually, because I literally last week I barely even checked my email. So make sure you message me. I feel like the right alignment needs to happen. And link to that is also in the description box. Also regarding this channel, I know that past year almost, I pretty much kind of just did Scorpio reading, on this channel, just this way in this format. I do feel like we're gonna be changing format soon. I'm not quite sure how yet. If you remember me from back in the day, when I was more focused on this channel, things were very different here. I don't think they're gonna go back to how they were, but I am thinking to change something to make this, more interesting. Or maybe I will focus just on the new I'm not sure yet. It's Mercury still retrograde, so we'll see. I think closer to June. But anyway, let's get started with your reading. Because this channel became sort of more like a podcast type, and I don't mind honestly whatsoever doing Scorpio reading. It's just the enough amount of reading work for me, because for me doing 12 sides, no, it's too much for me. But I don't know, I don't know, we'll see. Let's see guys, what's your message now? Thank you, by the way, everyone, for donations. If you want to donate to the channel, I'll be super grateful. Check out, there's a thanks button underneath this video, and there's also other ways you can donate in the description box. But anyway, let's see guys, what's gonna come up. Our morning coffee and tarot edition is back. Let's see, let's start with this oracle. All right. Oh, interesting. We have here black cats. It says good luck. Wow, this is so crazy that this card came up, because actually something I was meditating this morning on is 100% in line with this card. So I'll explain in a second. You know how our mind is sort of very limited. Actually, in a way, I was watching this one lecture where the person was explaining how really the job of our mind, of our brain, is to function as a limiting, in a way, a limiting force. Because if you think about it, right, there's so many things going on at whole time around you. Let's say, even though I'm at home alone right now, but in my room, even there are so many different books, so many different things, sounds outside. And my brain right now is only focusing on this one thing. In this moment, this is this reading, and this card. So our brain, I think it's a brain, not mind. But anyway, you got me, right? Is to limit the way we perceive reality. In a way, the reason, right, they say how we are in 1%, right, physical reality, while there is this 99% of all the unseen realms and different things we can see, and even around us, even in the physical, there's so much we don't see, we don't understand. So it's not surprising that, let's say, based on whatever information we received growing up or even in our adulthood, we have formed certain ideas, right, about something being good, something being bad, and it's not always wrong either, but we perceive, let's say, even in different cultures, very often the same thing as either good or bad. Like there is, it's crazy because like I traveled so much in my life, right? It is like there are certain countries you go and the same thing in another country is considered horrible, another country would be like extremely auspicious. So not to go into symbolism so much, but you know how sometimes you perceive events or things that happen to you as bad, right? Like for example, black cats, I look at them as something good, to be honest. Like black cat to me is like, oh, some kind of like spirit energy around me. But there are people in many cultures who would really like run to another side of the street. My God, black cat, horrible, And it's interesting because this card came up and it literally has this black cat, sort of like this light shining upon her. This has good luck. So basically the message here is, I would say, is to challenge the way you perceive your own thoughts. Because so many times we lose our spiritual connection, not because there is even some necessarily force out there that's like saying, no, you've reached such high, vibe state, right? Everybody is in a high vibe these days. You reach high vibe state and now, oh my God, this thing like killed your manifestation or just distracted you. And the challenge really is to challenge, right, how we think. What you thought sometimes is bad might actually, in the bigger picture of things, like the 99% reality and everything, to be actually a good thing, right? It's one of those things, sort of like, we are not gods, right? We don't, not yet at least, we don't see everything. So there's something here about your own perception of certain things around you, which I'm not saying like ignore, let's say, warning signs or whatever, but I'll give you a simple example. There's been some very spiritual process I've been going through lately, and then I started having it's like I had this very high connection, but then it was weird because my connection basically felt like it was disrupted or sort of disturbed by some like really not even bad thoughts, but stupid, nonsensical thoughts, like almost like in your own head you have like a troll, that tells you stupid stuff. And my initial reaction was like, oh my God, what is this? It's like, it's disturbing, it's interrupting the super high spiritual process I'm going through right now. And because of course of this reaction and perceiving that as bad, I started going into like, oh, I have to stop these thoughts. And of course, what happens when you try to stop sometimes certain thoughts, they come back at you like 100 times stronger. And then this sort of pushed me into this process of challenging, like, why do I perceive this as that horrible? Yeah, maybe it's stupid, but like, is it that horrible? And sort of trying to see the big picture. So I think it's that kind of message. There's something you need to maybe see how it could be perceived in a different way and not be so led astray by your initial reaction to, oh my God, good sign, good thought, blah blah, or bad. Because if you can see in this card, right, many people, I know so many people who they would see black cat and they would run just to make sure, if it crosses their path, that that it's like that they are not the first to go, at least to cross the street or something. Anyway, let's take one more card. So this is very interesting. It's mind blown actually, this card came up. Let's take this too. We have here thunder and lightning power. We have here dictionary communication. A couple of things here. So first of all, I do see there is two things. With dictionary communication, you could be mastering a craft of communicating in a way you've never done before. Now, for different people, it's going to mean different things. For some of you, it's quite literal. You're learning a different language. You're learning a skill, a way of communicating It could be literally like a language, let's say Spanish, French, I don't know, Italian, whichever other languages out there. Or it could be even like an art form, like dance can be a language, right? Like painting can be a language, stuff like that. Tarot even, like, you know, in a way we use tarot, we use astrology. It is the way of communicating certain messages. So this is for some of you. For others of you, you will be finding like an ability, like, you know how there's people who are not clairvoyant, what do you call it, clairaudient, I mean maybe clairvoyant to clairaudient. You will be finding like a superpower of sorts, where you will see that you can communicate either with the world of nature, like I know people like that who can communicate with plants, trees, animals, even receive actual messages from them. For some of you, you will notice that you have a talent of connecting to the other side, like mediums do. For some of you, it could be even just, you know, messages from above. Many different things it could manifest. But what's interesting, in the very center of this, like, two cards is thunder and lightning power. I feel there could be sudden events of you really maybe looking into the meaning of something that either happened to you or is happening or will happen to you in the near future. It could be like something symbolic. Maybe you've seen repetitive numbers. Maybe there is something really crazy. Like, you know how sometimes there is a sign that you just cannot make up? Like, I had something like this happen to me once when I was like super young. It was like cold winter, all the windows were closed out of nowhere. So like a huge ladybug, you know, crawling in my direction. It was the craziest thing ever. But it could be like a lot more, you know, something that feels almost like a crazy sign that you cannot make up, that's going to push you into researching something or awakening your own ability that you either didn't know existed or that was dormant. Maybe you consciously were, like, maybe you have certain ability. I feel like it has to do with psychic ability or something like that. Could be maybe you were consciously not letting that side of you come through because you either felt not ready or because you felt like it was just too much. Maybe the time was not right. I feel like thunder and lightning, suddenly like your power gets activated. Like, it's very sudden for you, where you were maybe scared of a side of yourself. It happens very often during spiritual awakening stages of it. And suddenly you're not afraid of that side of yours anymore. Maybe it's your own psychic ability or something like that. And you step into your power. Wow, that's pretty powerful, Scorpio. So I don't know what's going on. But yeah. Now let's go into your tarot. The way we're going to break down tarot today is we're going to first take 3 cards for your general energy. Then we're going to take cards for love and money. Let's start first 3 cards for your general energy. We have here Hierophant. We have here Wheel of Fortune, big energies. We have here 8 of Cups, bottom of the deck. We have here the 6 of Cups. Hope you guys can see. All right, so big energies. I feel like for some of you, again, this look how here we have book and here we have book, right? So it's something about a studying process, but again, it doesn't have to be like school, college, or anything like that. It could be like literally awakening of your own process of studying a discipline. It's a very faded thing, especially looking how there's thunder and lightning and also Wheel of Fortune right behind it. Again, feels like some kind of sign that you're given. You start researching something, you start studying something, and that leads you to, I feel like for some of you, it could be understanding of why certain connections in your life ended. With the 8 of Cups, it could be that someone left you. Again, doesn't have to be romantic. It could be like, you know, different things, like just like something or someone is not available anymore. And there is that energy where you are really with the moon being able to see beyond what normal person sees. Maybe you have people around you who don't get something, but you do. So again, it could be maybe like having to do with those very spiritual processes, but it's very faded here, I'm seeing. And it's like, with a Wheel of Fortune, like, let your destiny lead you to where you need to be. Your energy overall, like last week of May and starting even in June, very spiritual, like in very spiritual, not just in a way like, hey, I'm so spiritual, I'm doing yoga, but in a very like deep way where you're able to receive certain knowledge, certain insight, certain understanding beyond what I feel like is available basically maybe to people around you. That's not to say like you're better or anything. It's more like it's a very big, powerful shift that's taking place for you. I feel like this is with number 5, started in the month of May, which is this month. I also feel that, what I was gonna say, something about bubbles, I'm not sure what it means. Like literally you might see kids playing in a park, and you know how you can like, you know those toys where you breathe out like different things? I don't know how to say it, sorry, I'm not sure the word about it. It's also going to be some kind of a sign for you. It's very deep, that's very mysterious, and actually makes a lot of sense because as I'm recording this, we have retrograde Mercury in Gemini, which is Mercury is a messenger of gods, right? Meeting with the sun in Gemini, and for some of you it could be your 8th house in astrology. Maybe it's for some of you, depending what your ascendant is, could be your 12th house. For Cancerian rising, for example, it would be the 12th house energy, something like that. Let's see a little bit more. Let's look right now. Let's look into your money. Let's see how your money is doing. And if you guys hear any noises, really sorry. I'm usually trying to record in the morning, but some people also wake up early. So let's just see. Let's see. Money for Scorpios. We have here Judgment. We have here Ace of Swords. Again, look at this. We'll take a look at this for a second. We have 3 of Pentacles. Bottom of the deck when it comes to your money is 2 of Pentacles. I do think you will need to balance something. There will be a lot of busy energy, I feel like, with money. You will need to see how much you spend, how much you earn, things like this. But what I really like is we have 3 of Pentacles. I really feel like you're going to be building up from wherever you currently are financially to your next step. With Judgment to the Ace of Swords, this is where you have also clarity about what your financial goals are, what also your purpose and your calling is that can really bring you to abundance, where I'm hearing you don't have to count. So whatever the kind of abundance, I feel like as you align yourself with your spiritual journey, with your purpose, you're cultivating abundance where you're in such flow with the universe, you literally don't need to count. So it's kind of weird because they show here right now you're still balancing, you're still counting, you're still like trying to get all these checks and balances in. But like there is going to be a time, I feel like you're on this journey now where you will literally have such abundance. It's like, obviously you will count in terms of like, you know, we need to do our taxes and things like this. But it says like there is so much plenty that you can't even count. So something like that they show here. This is good. We love that, right? Now let's put this aside because this is more of your general energy. I'm gonna maybe, I don't know, should I timestamp this too? Let's go into your love. What my Scorpios are dealing with when it comes to love. Ooh, interesting. We got here the Moon. First card. We have the Magician, definitely manifesting something in your love life. We have here 7 of Swords. We have here Temperance. Why 7 of Swords here? Let's see. We also have, ouch, this is I think 2 cards or no? Yes, we have Knight of Wands with the 8 of Wands. There is someone I feel like rising from the bottom. I don't know what that is. Okay, let's just see. Let's look at your person. We have King of Cups. Okay. We have here 5 of Swords, Knight of Swords. We have here 4 of Cups. We also have here the Star. They say there is hope, and we have here Queen of Swords. Bottom of the deck, we have the 10 of Pentacles. So the way I'm seeing this is like this. You definitely have a situation where there's probably been a bit of a conflict with someone. Like, let's just say you dated, everything was good, had a relationship, but then things fell apart. One of you definitely, I feel like both of you felt betrayed, but just in a different way. You maybe felt there is a lack of effort on their part. Like you might have felt that they are being, what's the word, complacent. Because I see someone is here just sort of, when it comes to your person, they are in their own world, doing their own stuff while you are here, and you are asking a question. Why is it not focusing? You're asking a question basically like, do you not see like how much you mean to me? Are you not scared to lose me? Are you not scared that while you're doing whatever you're doing, I'm just gonna go and do my own stuff? Because see, that's the thing. In love and in relationship, it is absolutely normal that people have their own stuff, their own life. I actually think, you know, not just me, it's typically healthier to, you know, have some space, right? Even if you love each other, even if you want to like be with each other every second, it's very healthy to have space. However, I feel like in the case of this person, there is something about taking space and then sort of, I don't want to say vanishing, but maybe it could be what happened. And I'm just getting that like you were really here trying to be there. But the thing is, see, it's like you can never, like, even if you think you can control another person, you really can't. So I guess like there is a question for you here. What do you want? Because some of you, and I'm just gonna be, it's like a brutally honest reading here. So if it's not for you, if it's not for you, I'm just getting for some of you, you really want certain outcome here. Like, and you've been manifesting this with the moon and the magician. See, the thing is like, when you're manifesting, let's say if you don't have an attachment to who the person is and you just, let's say, want to manifest a new door, a new opening in your love life, then it's all great. But like, let's just say there is a specific person, in my opinion, personally, you have to be very careful when manifesting specific people. Why? Because, well, first of all, a person has their own, you know, their own life, their own free will and things like this. And sometimes I'll give you just genuine advice from my own very painful experience. Sometimes even a person who would be interested in you, if you go too aggressive with your manifestation or whatever it is, they will be repelled by it actually rather than attracted to you. So we have to be kind of very careful here. If it's a specific person you're manifesting, you have to ask yourself, why are you so attached to whoever that person is? Like, it's, you know, part of love is being able to let go. And it's hard as it is, like in whichever way a person leaves you, a part of it is to know that whatever their own journey is that we might not understand, it could be okay. Now, you don't have to ever take anyone back. Like, let's say a person went on their own journey and some people say, oh, maybe one day you cross paths, maybe like whatever. No, you don't have to ever take them back. That's why we kind of like live our own life in the present. Because see, the thing is like, we have this expectation, and I feel like for some of you, there was an expectation that you will grow all together with this person, stuff like that. You really were already maybe preparing for that in some way. I'm just getting, again, I'm not saying it's not gonna happen or whatever, but I'm just saying that if you are dealing, if this is your situation, we'll look at a bit of a different scenario in a moment. But if you're dealing with a situation where another person just doing their own stuff, doesn't maybe want to deal with it, and you're asking, like, how come you don't see me? I have all this love to give. Why aren't you available? Or like, aren't you scared that I'm gonna, you know, someone else is going to, you know, scoop me or something? See, the thing is like, if you're so into this person and if you're standing there waiting for them, they are not gonna value you necessarily. Why? Because they still feel your energy. Now, have you ever noticed when the moment you really detach or start dating someone else or move on, the person who was so like taking you for granted suddenly like runs after you? Why is that? Because they actually, in this moment, they start realizing, oh my God, I'm gonna lose this person. Could be that. Sometimes if it's a toxic person, like, or I don't want to say toxic person, if it's more of a toxic behavior, let's say, they could just be checking if, you know, if you are still available or not, something like that. Depends, of course, you know, your relationship better. You have to be careful with that, because see, the thing is, you both kind of have, I feel like, unmatched expectation here, where with the Five of Swords, they feel unsafe in a way where maybe they feel like they're being controlled or manipulated into something. Again, I'm not saying you're doing that. It could be just their own issue where they grew up in a certain house where they observed something like that, or it's their own maybe behavior but they project it on someone else. I don't know, but it's just that's the energy. I feel like for you the most important thing is with the Seven of Swords card here, let things be whatever they are. Don't try to control or change it so much. With the Temperance card next to the Eight of Wands and then the Knight of Wands, if you're patient enough, meaning if you're most importantly patient with yourself, if you just focus on your own journey, which is hard because sometimes we just get so attached to another person, we don't see our journey separate from them. I feel like you're really going to rise, and even for some of you, it could be that the person you really want is going to also rise with you. Now, again, it could be different energy for some of you guys here, because it could be that with a person, things could improve drastically the moment there is no heavy expectation on what happens between the two of you from your side, and things just unfold naturally. For others of you, maybe you've been single. This is a different scenario. Maybe you've been single and you've really been trying to manifest a good person, you know, to come into your life. Now, I'm not saying you should stop your manifestation. In fact, I think if that's your situation, I think it's working. But for some of you, there's something with the Seven of Swords. Maybe it's a fear of being betrayed or a fear of being lied to, that I feel like you're still healing. And it's important for you to understand that you can and you have a full right to be patient with your own healing. Like, I feel like some of you put deadlines on yourself, like by certain time you have to figure this out, by certain time you have to completely heal. Now, again, especially ladies, right, there is like biological clock and stuff like that. But see, the thing is, sometimes, as sad as it sounds, the more you pressure yourself to accomplish by certain moments, the less, like, the slower it becomes, you know. Sometimes, you know, like if let's say, you know, you have some small wound, right, like, you know, somewhere like in your body and stuff, the more you touch it, the more likely it's going to interfere with the natural healing process. So the same thing here, it's like you do what you need to, like let's say example of a wound, right, you disinfect it, you put like ointment or whatever if you need that, but then you don't touch it, you just let the healing take place. And same thing with you, there was some kind of betrayal, some kind of, you know, obviously every person in their life at least once have some kind of betrayal, some kind of heartache. You've done the work, but now let things fall into place. You know what I mean? Like, let's just say you take vitamins, right? You don't expect like day one or day two even it to work immediately. There's something you've been doing, even with manifestation, that just needs to come, like, you know, into right thing. And for those of you who resonate with that, I do think that you're manifesting a person who is also going through their own healing journey. And when the two of you connect, it's going to be like really magical, because they're going to be basically that, what do you call it? That's like that answered prayer, that manifestation, that dream that comes true. So again, depending who is watching this, could resonate in a different way. Now, let's just see, let's take a love message here. Because you do have, see, the thing is, like, you do have love around you. So love is not something that scarce. Sometimes when we are either impatient with our manifestation, or when we want, like this card been coming up, by the way, in every Scorpio reading. But like sometimes when we want something specific to happen, right? It's almost like we put that sort of like energy that something is scarce, but it's not. We have here very soon. Clearly decide what you want so that it comes to you. So there is something obviously here that, you know, that's going to be coming to you. Now, it's, I remember myself when I was kind of like in that energy too, where I was, you know, trying to manifest someone or whatever. Now I don't have that kind of issue. I am happy in my love life, you know. It's just like, it's really like sometimes you await something so much that, like, again, it's so like it's so easy to say let go, but I'm just getting like things are not gonna stay the same. Things will change, But like I actually get a message, there's something you need to let go. It could have to deal also with healing family issues. So some of you, as you heal your connection with parents, and again, your parents don't even have to be in this world. You don't even have to necessarily, for some of you, talk to them. But there is a healing process of just family, like lineage, family system. I don't know if you've ever heard of this thing called constellations. Could be even that. And we have reconciliation. Someone from your past is returning to your life. Now again, I always have to be careful when I give this kind of messages, even if the card comes out, because for like it's very hard to do in a way sometimes when this kind of energy comes up, a YouTube reading, because see, the thing is, like a lot of people, let's say, broke up with someone in separation. Now there is going to be a good chunk of people who might, you know, reconnect, but it happened to all of us, right? We break up with someone and then we reconcile, we go back together, sometimes, you know, for a while, sometimes it doesn't last, right? But then there's also people who are not necessarily going to reconcile and actually better off moving on. So you have to be very, like, this is something, you know, I cannot do for you. It's something you have to do for yourself. You have to see for yourself, where do you feel like you're in this journey? What do you think is going on? Because like whenever this card comes up, even though it's a very good thing, I would like hate to say, oh yeah, your ex, you know, is coming back, everything is great, right? You have to sort of practice your own discernment here. Because again, a lot of internet is free, YouTube is free, everyone's watching, you know, any kind of video, so have to be careful here. Yeah, so let's just see here. I want to take a few more cards. A little bit of a heavier energy today when we touched your love life, by the way, not before that. Before that it was fine. I'm gonna take, let's go a little bit into your love life a little deeper. What's happening in your love life? You might also be right now identifying and seeing what exactly is that pain point in your relationships. Maybe there's been something where you literally couldn't understand why there was a certain cycle. Where was the pain point? And because Venus is with Chiron right now in Aries, which is your 6th house, and it's also Venus is the ruler of your 7th house, especially for Scorpio rising, but also Sun and Moon. It's almost like right now you start seeing maybe some blind spot you didn't see clearly before. Could be happening now. You could have been feeling this already for a week, or maybe even a little more. It's almost like maybe you have some wound or some trauma or some own pattern, like where maybe you just, like, once you fall in love, you see people through rose-colored glasses only, or you attract only the same kind of person. You start seeing very clearly now what that is. What was that? What is that journey from point A to point B, or whatever your situation is? So let's see a little more. Today is a little long reading. I've been absent for some time, so I'm gonna give you guys a little extra. We have here King of Swords. And it's interesting because they came up with King of Cups before, and we had Queen of Swords here too. Is that energy where, again, whether we are reading someone specific now or whether this is just energy in general you are dealing with, I feel like you might sometimes attract people who go hot and cold. So one moment you feel like they are loving and they're exactly what you're looking for, but the next moment they reveal this very cold, detached side where you are not quite sure, you know, even the same person. Why is that so? Why is that so? Lovers. 5 of Swords. Interesting. And we have here Knight of Swords with the 9 of Pentacles. It's definitely, the way I'm seeing this is definitely a pattern for some of you, where you feel like you might be at first finding the most magical person, the most magical connection, but then something happens where you feel deeply betrayed, or you kind of, it's not always that it goes straight to betrayal. It could be at times where you just see something that worries you or triggers you, and your own combative side even could be coming out, because you're like, no, I'm not going to be betrayed, where I'm like putting you on such pedestal. And then there is what happens with the Knight of Swords. A person could be like literally like kneeling in front of you, sort of wanting you to either forgive them or wanting to change something. maybe, I don't know, it's going to be a weird message, maybe only resonates for some of you, maybe even for some of you, a person sort of becomes emasculated a little bit, where they, you know, to sort of please you, they go into, from the king to the knight, they are trying at least. And again, for some of you are like, no way, this never happened. It could be even for some of you with king to the knight, you see them, they present themselves as someone who has all their stuff together, knows what they want and stuff like that, but then you get to know them a little better and you're like, oh my god, you're just like the Knight of Swords. You're not someone who is like, you know, even though again knight is not a bad card, but just because it's king to the knight, it's like you sort of see them as less. And sometimes Scorpio women specifically have that issue because your 7th house is Venus, right? Taurus, and you are yourself Mars, so you sometimes feel like you're the one who has more energy or drive in the relationship. It's very important to look at your moon or your Venus in your birth chart to see how to like keep that feminine energy, so that the masculine energy also, you know, like flows naturally. And then we have the 9 of Pentacles. Sometimes people feel like you don't need much, even though you do. It's like there is a part of you that's very vulnerable that not everyone can see. But then you're wondering, like, I do show this to this person, why do they not respond to it, you know, in a way that makes sense? 6 of Swords. I don't know if you left somebody behind or not. 6 of Swords with the 6 of Cups. It's a strange time period because there is a part of you that's ready to leave something behind, and 6 of Cups, there is a part of you that still has moments when it thinks about it. So anyway, we'll take a look in the extended to see what comes up. Let's see what cards should we take. We haven't used Rider-Waite, so let's use Rider-Waite for clarification. Let's take 5 cards all about your current person. What's going on with them? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see all about how they perceive you in the connection right now. Ouch. We have 5 of Pentacles, by the way, to come out, but I will reshuffle. How they perceive you in the connection. 1, 2, 3. What are their fears and hopes about this connection? 1, 2, 3. What's likely is going to manifest in the near future? 1, 2, 3. Is there anyone else, either for you or for another person? We'll take 3 and 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Anyway, links to the extended is going to be down below. There is a lot of, I feel like, communication and clarity that's you're going to be receiving one way or another. So links to the extended is going to be down below. We'll look at everything and even more oracle, more stuff in the extended. Thank you guys so much for joining. Talk soon. Bye.